The Fox empire at times did, as I note, report facts about the election, but then really bent and went in and, as Rupert Murdoch put it, endorsed the lies. Your view about what matters here?
Look, I think what matters here is the scope of the deception, not only of the MAGA base that believed that Fox was telling them the truth and was elevating these people who internally they viewed as kooks and lunatics and liars, but the damage they were willing to do to the country as that climate that Fox built led to January 6th. He primed his audience for weeks and weeks knowing it was a lie. He allowed Tucker and Sean and Laura and the rest of that clown show to go out every night and generate more and more anxiety and fury with the MAGA base, which led to that moment where they were primed like a powder keg on January 6th to attack the Capitol. I really think he has a lot more culpability here. I mean, moral culpability is one thing that Rupert Murdoch is not exactly familiar with, but I think he has a lot of culpability here for what the network did with the knowledge they had.
Emily?
I think Murdoch's trying to have it both ways, right? He's saying the numbers were the numbers on election night. In other words, we knew that Joe Biden won the election, but also admitting that some of his hosts were endorsing a lie about the election results. The standard in a libel trial is, did you knowingly put on false people lying? And it seems like he is saying that he knew, and he's the CEO of the company. He was stuck. He had a choice between, it seems, lying under oath himself and incriminating other people in his company and seriously weakening Fox's defense against Dominion, because, of course, we're in the context of this libel trial in which Dominion is the injured party trying to recover for the damage to its reputation, right? This is a particular context of this libel, this ongoing libel suit.
Right, and you're reminding folks that's how this works for relatively arcane reasons. There are plenty of people who sustained very real injury in the insurrection and other related attacks and rising political violence, which I mentioned as a context to that. But what it takes to sue in court and who has the money and time to want to do that is a different lane. You mentioned, Emily, how much Murdoch seems to incriminate himself as opposed to deciding to risk it all at 91 and lie in this proceeding, and he's been through many proceedings. Here's what he said about Giuliani, basically admitting what I think is a key smoking gun in the case. They knew this liar was lying, and they could have stopped it, and they chose not to. Take a look.
Machines can be hacked. There's no question about that. Their machines can be hacked.
Because there's not a singular voter fraud in one state. This pattern repeats itself in a number of states.
Asked whether he could have put a stop to that, he says quite emphatically, Emily, I could have, but I didn't.
But I did.
If that was a Perry Mason trial that you and I were watching on fictional TV, we'd say, well, you don't usually get a confession like that.
It's interesting. Maybe he thinks he's saying I was hands off. That's the proper role for a CEO to play with a big media organization. But by saying he could have stopped them from letting Giuliani repeat these lying lies on the air, he's suggesting that he understood this was within his power and that he let it go on anyway. And again, for Dominion, which has to prove that Fox knowingly put these guests on the air knowing that they're going to lie, that seems pretty damning.